Hello and welcome back to another episode of Terraria Hardcore. This is episode 3, Preparation. You're just listening to a little taste of the 10th track off the Terraria Volume 1 soundtrack. It's called The Hollow, and it is actually part of the in-game content. You'll be hearing a little bit more of that later in this episode. Just want to tell you what I've been up to with my hero hardly here and his quest to stay alive. I just realized as I started playing this episode that I needed to start preparing for the Eye of Cthulhu. Now, the Eye of Cthulhu is basically the first boss in the game, and it is a relatively easy boss when you have the right equipment for it. Unfortunately, you won't have the right equipment to defeat it easily until much later in the game. So, I have to start getting on the ball, and preparing for this giant monster. It's this big eye that comes out of the sky. It has teeth and things that it shoots from itself to try to kill you and all this type of good stuff. So I'm continuing my quest for metal. That's what I'm doing here is I'm trying to find iron, silver, gold, and copper. I found some iron here, which is good. I didn't know it was out here. I just went to the right and went exploring a little bit. And I found a place. Now, down in the lower left-hand corner, you saw a place with a little bit of a torch, and it looked like a room, and I'll have to go find that place a little bit later. But right now, I'm looking for gold, I'm looking for metal, I'm looking for copper, iron, silver, things of that nature, but I also need wood. Now, I had this idea to go down into this crevice and start seeing what I could find in the jungle, but then I remembered that I'm using a hardcore character and I didn't want to die yet. Jungle animals can be pretty tough. So instead of going down there, I decided to build myself a little platform, get back up, and go back to my home base. I'm trying to build my character up so I can take on this eye. Right now, if he came, I would die. Now, the thing you have to understand is that the Eye of Cthulhu, he comes when certain conditions are met within the game. These conditions include... Oh, hey, that room that I saw is actually the room at the bottom of the tree. So I've already been there, I've already got the stuff. Anyway, back to what I was saying. The conditions for the Eye of Cthulhu include... If you have 3 NPCs in your town, if you have over 10 defense armor, and I think the other condition is you can summon it with crafting 10 or 20 lenses you get off of those flying eyes at night. You craft them into an eye that you can destroy to summon the Eye of Cthulhu. Now, I don't feel ready for him at the moment. I mean, if you look, I'm getting eaten up by slimes. It's not a fun situation. So, my goal for this episode is to start the preparation to meet this big old monster that is obviously from one of the elder gods of, H.P. Lovecraft mythos. I guess he's a really big guy because the Eye of Cthulhu is pretty big. As I go back, I have my wood, I have some metal, and I'm thinking about what I need to do to get ready. Part of me wants to upgrade my armor, but I also realize that if I get over 10 armor, it's going to summon him automatically. So I go in here and I start looking around my inventory and the crafting screen. You have to understand that this crafting screen gives me a little bit of irritation because R1 and L1, they do the bottom row here where you go with the crafting items, and R2 and L2 they do the top row that goes between your inventory screen, the crafting screen, your equipment screen, and the housing screen. So I always get those two buttons mixed up. That's why when you're watching me here, you'll see me going in between them. And right about now, I realize that I need an anvil to start creating any weapons and any armor. Of course, I didn't need an anvil to create my wooden sword, but I do need an anvil to create anything that is metal. I decided to stand right here and look at my, I looked at my map, because when you look at the map, you can see where deposits of metal and deposits of gold, copper, silver, and other metals are on the map screen. And it makes it a lot easier to find said metals in the world, because when the PC version was first released, it didn't have a map screen like that. In fact, the PC version didn't get a map screen like that until after the console version received one. It's really useful. I actually used to, I had a third-party client that used to give me the same type of detail. And as you can see, I'm looking for metal in the world. I see some to the right, but I don't know if I want to go all the way over there. You can see some clay there too. The clay is kind of, you know, it's a little bit lighter than the sand. Iron looks like silverish gray, silver looks silver. But I go to the left and I see that there are some metals over in the desert over here. And I think that that is the easiest path to go. But what I don't realize is that as I'm digging, I'll find some more metals. Now I went ahead and cut out the 10 or 15 minutes of me just digging and finding the metals, because who wants to watch someone digging for 9 or 10 minutes or whatever? And it was a long stretch of time. So I cut that out and I put 2 video clips together. I'm going back, I came back up to my crafting table, and I have enough iron to craft the anvil. So I'm going to put the anvil out, and I like putting crafting stations together that complement one another. So what I do is I get the furnace. After I put the anvil down, I go get the furnace and then I come put it by the anvil. That way I can smelt metal and then craft metal in the same place. Just stand in the middle between the anvil and the furnace, and it's really easy to do at that point. Of course, as I start to try to craft some armor, I realize that I don't have enough metal to craft any armor, but I'd forgot that I can craft wood materials without needing any metal. So I'm looking around my inventory in the crafting screen for a minute, and I actually want to look at the swords that I need. The highest level sword right now is the iron one, I believe, but I don't have enough iron for that. So I go over and start looking at the armor. Then I realize, hey, I have enough wood to craft some wooden armor. But you can only do it at the workstation. What I really need to do is bring the workstation over here by the forge, the workbench over here by the forge and anvil, but I haven't done that yet. I start crafting some wooden armor. Now, wooden armor is very, very low defense. The chest plate gives you 1 defense. The greaves, you don't get any defense off of it. But it helps complete the set, so I made it anyway. And I don't have enough wood to create the helmet. So I decide I need to go deforest some more area. Now, don't worry about me taking down all these trees. Every time you get every time you cut down a tree, there's an acorn that comes with it. So you can just go plant, when you run out of trees, if you run out of trees in the world, you can just go replant the trees in whatever area you want. So usually I cut down the trees and I replant at the same time, but I haven't been doing that in this video. Cutting down the trees, always remember to cut at the base so you get all the wood at once. Yeah, this, you know, having slimes hurt you like this is just annoying. But at least the wood gives me a little bit more defense now. So you can see I come back over to the crafting table, go up to the helmet, and I craft myself a helmet. And this gives me 1 defense. But having the whole set of armor on will actually give me a bonus for having a whole set, so I get 3 defense total. I have to watch out when I'm crafting armor. I don't want to get above 10 defense right now, unless I know I can take on the Eye of Cthulhu. But a trick is, if you watch the day and night cycles, you can wear above defense 10 during the day and then take it off before nightfall, and the Eye of Cthulhu won't come after you because it only attacks you, or he only attacks you at night. And here's what I'm looking at now. I want a sword. I want a better sword than the one I have now. The one I have now isn't bad, I guess, for a starter sword, but it has no knockback at all. So whenever I fight zombies or monsters, they don't get knocked back, and it doesn't give me a lot of time to hit them again. If a sword has a good rate of knockback, it'll knock them back. That way you can wind up again and hit them where it hurts. Of course, you can see the tunnel that I dug right here on this part of the video. And aren't you glad you didn't have to sit around and watch that for 9 to 10 minutes? It would have been kind of a boring video. I love this game, but some of it is not good for my mind just went blank. It's not good for those that want to watch. I went back to my map, found some more metal, and now I'm digging over to the metal. Of course, this game is about mining, crafting, and killing lots of awesome monsters and getting some good loot. And we'll get into that in the next episode. I'll continue my preparations for the Eye of Cthulhu. Now, at the beginning of the video, you heard a little bit of one of the tunes from the Terraria soundtrack. It is called The Hollow, and it is the soundtrack that you hear as you get into the Hollow in the end game. After I'm done talking here, I have the whole track on here in full. So if you want to sit back and listen to it, you can hear a little bit of what the soundtrack, the Terraria soundtrack, has to offer. I really like it. I think they did a really good job with the music. Remember that my name is Warren, and I'm glad that you're watching these videos. If you want to see more of this stuff, be sure to hit subscribe and come back. I have these videos going up every Tuesday and every Thursday. Also, if you're on the PlayStation Network, you can find me as DJ Random. That's DEEJ Random. And you can find me that under that name on Steam as well. Next time, you'll see me continue to prepare for the ominous eye that is trying to watch me, and I will continue to work on getting my house built. I just blanked out there. I'm pulling a William Shatner, I think. Alright, thank you for watching. Again, my name is Warren, and you have a great night. I hope you enjoy the song that's coming up next. Goodbye.